Welcome to the Women Faith Plus Business Podcast. I'm your host, Nadine Mullings. I'm an author, speaker, and marketing mentor, and I believe in the importance of women of faith in business stepping up and shining in their lane so they can have the impact, income, and influence they were born to make. Join me this season to hear the stories of powerful women of faith who have authored a collaborative, purpose-driven book to make a difference in the world. And be sure to join the Women Faith Plus business community on Facebook by going to nadinemullings.com/community. See you in the powerful community of women of faith in business, and enjoy this episode of the Women Faith Plus Business Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Women Faith Plus Business Podcast. I'm super excited to have our guest panel today, and it's the authors of Inspiring Women, Purpose, Passion, and Power in Professionalism. That's a lot of P's. So I love that I have the authors here today, and also the visionary author, Marie Fratoni. So welcome each and every one of you to the Women Faith Plus Business Podcast.
Good morning, and thank you for having us all.
You are welcome. So I'm going to start off with the visionary author, Marie Fratoni. As the CEO of Get Clients Everywhere, Marie Fratoni works globally to help professionals build solid, long-term, and successful businesses. She coaches entrepreneurs to become savvy, social, and successful through cultivating professional relationships that are fulfilling and profitable, and providing sound business building strategies. She helps her clients double and even triple their income. As a community leader, Marie makes a difference. She is a staunch advocate for women in business, founding and leading several professional groups throughout the years designed to advance the careers of women, including the Women's Professional Development Network in Atlanta. And I have personally benefited from the Women's Professional Development Network. I have actually attended many of Marie's events when I lived in Atlanta. She was probably one of the first groups that I attended and was networking with. So Marie and I actually go way back many years. We were talking before we hit the record button, trying to figure out how many years it's been and when the last time was that we saw each other. So welcome to the podcast, Marie. And I also want to make sure that we introduce each one of the co-authors today. So I'd love for Rebecca Kirson to go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Rebecca. Happy to be here. I'm a transformational coach, and I have a business called Your Sacred Truth. So it's about connecting people in with their deeper purpose so they can live a very soul-filled life to create more abundance, purpose, and empowerment.
Awesome. Welcome, Rebecca. And
Thank you.
Rebecca Zdybel. Hopefully I said that right. Zdybel?
It's Zdybel, but yes,
Zdybel. There we go.
it's not uncommon to have that problem.
Welcome, Rebecca.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I am an artist in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where I have a gallery. I teach classes and paint. Paint what inspires me, trying to bring other people along and show them the joy that painting can bring to their lives as well. So good morning.
Good morning and welcome. And Amy Getz.
Good morning.
I said that right.
Yes, you did. My name is Amy Getz. I am a financial advisor for IRC Wealth. I believe wealth and financial freedom are for everyone, and wealthy women specifically change the world.
Yeah, I love that. And the book that we're talking about today is Inspiring Women. So I want to start off, Marie. You share in the book what inspired you to create this collaborative book, but I'd love for you to share with the audience, what was your inspiration? Why did you decide that Inspiring Women, the book, needed to be in the world?
Well, that's a big question. It's a lot of answers that I could say, but I think I actually thought that you might ask that question. So I was thinking, I've been working and really trying to elevate the status of women in the world for many, many years, mostly here in the country, But I just think that women should be leading the world, and we need to have a face. We need to be propped up. We need to have some visibility. And I am very blessed that I know a ton of amazing women that are incredibly talented, that they're not necessarily big empire builders, so to speak, but they have a great life. They have a great business. They do good things in the world, and they do great things for other people. And so I just always think that entrepreneurship is a great gateway to peacekeeping on the planet. And when women are taking care of themselves, that's a good thing, because when they take care of themselves, they can take care of others. So I've harnessed, I just thought it would be a fun project. I was in a collaborative book at one point that was super fun to be in. And I decided to bring some of the talented folks that I have, and got several yeses from many people besides this beautiful crew. And we're actually creating volume 2 because people wanted to be in it. And I just think we're on to something.
Yes, I love that. First of all, I love the point of elevating women. That word elevate is my word for 2024. So anytime I hear that in a sentence, in conversation, I always highlight and illuminate the point of elevate. So
Mhm.
to have this book to elevate women, and not just elevate them, but elevate their leadership and the work that they're doing in the world and how they can inspire other women, I think is awesome and such a great project. And super excited that you're going to have a volume 2. So that's an announcement here on the podcast. Any expectations on when that one's going to come out with the volume 2?
Probably at the end of the year or the very beginning of next year.
Okay, awesome. So at the time of this recording, we're in 2024. So look out at the end of 2024 or in 2025 for volume 2 of Inspiring Women. So let's get into volume 1. So Marie, you share in the book how you extended invitations to key women to participate in the project and how each woman is a part of your circle of brilliance. Now, I just love that phrase alone, circle of brilliance, and that inspired 15 women to be in the book with you. So tell us a little bit about your circle of brilliance. Why did you even name it Circle of Brilliance, and who's a part of your circle of brilliance?
Well, first of all, I would say everyone who's on this podcast right now is part of that. I know amazing people, and I've been really focusing on developing and growing women business leaders for many, many years. They span across the globe, in different states and different countries. And I always say by myself, I don't know everything, and I don't know how to do everything, but I know people that do know how to do the things that are the gaps that I experience. And I'm a very community oriented person. I'm a groupie. I love groups. I get tired of being by myself. And so when I can always harness a posse of great people around me, I enjoy that very, very much. And I think they do too.
Yeah, awesome. I know you said in your section of the book that you said you came from a big family, right? So you're used to community and being around communities, and of course, that spurred your desire to want to create community because of the brilliance that can come out of community. So I'd love to ask the co-authors, why did you decide to join the project? What specifically about this project made you raise your hand or answer the invitation to be a part of it? So whoever feels led to go first as to answering, why did you decide to be a co-author in Inspiring Women?
I'll go.
Amy?
Okay.
I delight in Marie Fratoni. I think that she does good work in this world. I love the spirit with which she shows up, which she serves. She elevates people around her. And I felt quite honored that she saw me as an inspiring woman. And it's important that we all see ourselves in that light. And so I took on the challenge of saying, you know what, I do have things to share with this world that are important, that are meaningful. And what better way than to put them in writing for, all eternity, if you will, and share that. And I message that I have for women changing the world is an important one that we all need to hear.
Yeah, definitely. I love that, Amy. Then Rebecca?
I'll go
Yes.
to that. I'll speak to that. If I know there's two Rebeccas here, but
I
I'll go.
know. I realized that after I said Rebecca, I was like, well, she's
Yeah,
not going to go
yeah.
which one.
Well, I said yes because it sounded like fun.
Mm,
And I have, my particular chapter is about using joy as my compass in life. And so it really, when I really thought about it, I thought, oh gosh, to be a part of a message that might be inspiring to others. First of all, I also was flattered that Marie would think of me, because I think of her as someone who's inspirational. So yeah, just the simple aspect that it sounded like a fun project and a worthwhile one. So that's a very easy answer for me, is it just sounded like fun.
Awesome. Fun and worthwhile. Rebecca?
Yes, I said yes because Marie is a leader. She's a pioneer, and she sparks joy and delight in people who are around her and with her. And whenever the two of us are in a space together, we laugh, we have just an incredible time together. And I think that's really what it's about, is to learn how to spark people from within so that they can connect in with their inner authority and really have that confidence. And I see Marie doing that. So I too was honored to be asked to be a part of this book and to be able to light that joy and that spark inside myself and share that with other women.
Awesome. I love that. Now let's talk about the content of the book. Lots of kudos to Marie. So Marie, you are definitely a force to be reckoned with, and many of the women joined the project because of the light that you're sharing and the inspiration that you're sharing in the world. So definitely kudos to you for leading this project, inviting these amazing women to be a part of it, and obviously you're an inspiration to them, and that's one of the reasons they said yes to the project. So let's talk about the content. Each one of you wrote some amazing chapters. I'm going to start off with Amy Getz, Wealthy Women Change the World. I love the title alone, Wealthy Women Change the World, because I honestly believe a successful woman, that's why I focus on women with my business, when a woman has a successful business, it's a ripple effect in her family, her community, the country, worldwide. So I love your title of Wealthy Women Change the World. And one of the things that you mentioned in your section, Amy, is imagine the impact of a woman can have when they're armed with an abundance of resources, finances, and otherwise. And that just was like, oh my gosh, yes, I love that. If we could all have the resources we need, the finances that we need, the world would definitely be a different place. You also share in your story how you achieved financial freedom, but you lost your true essence. That really stood out for me because I think a lot of us aim for that financial freedom, but never think that you can lose yourself with financial freedom. So I'd love for you to share a little bit more about what your journey was, what you went through, how you got financial freedom, but then you lost your true essence. Would you like to share a little bit more about that, Amy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can be so singularly focused in our life on a certain goal. And for someone else, it might have been a different goal. But for me, my story growing up was that it was always just enough and never really in an overflow space. And I've come to realize that not only can you not pour from an empty cup, but you really shouldn't pour from a cup that is full, because you need that for yourself. You need those resources. You need that time, that energy, that space for yourself. So it's from the overflow of where you're able to give and be of highest service to others. And so I think in the place for me, I focused so much on achieving financial freedom because I felt like there wasn't an overflow in my growing up years. I had a lovely childhood but it was okay, I don't want to feel in this space of I cannot because of a financial reason. And I think my focus was so great on that financial success, which translates into safety and security for so many people, that I lost my way of being able to play and have as much fun. And it was really that the more I've realized that I have financial success, the more simple that I'm seeking in the simplicity in my own life, right? It's realizing that financial freedom is choice, but it is also that it's freedom. And it's not about more things. It's become about more experiences for me. It's become about how can I share my gifts with the world, and how can other people feel in this same space of overflow. And I think to the point of wealthy women, I also wanted to make it clear that wealth comes in a variety of different forms, that while it's amazing that people have financial resources that they can share and elevate others, but even if it's just being of wealth of knowledge, a wealth of wisdom, a wealth of, spirit, where whether that's in your home, in your close-knit community, on a local level or grander. Like, I want people to realize they have time and talent and treasure, and that the focus, wealthy women changes the world. Wealth can be defined in a variety of ways. And I didn't want people to feel like if they didn't have financial abundance, that they were in any way less than any of the rest of the people in the world. And they can make a difference in who they are, how they serve, with or without it.
Yeah, I love that, Amy. And I love that you brought up the point that no matter what the goal is, your goal was financial freedom, right? Sometimes we can be so focused on our goal, whatever your goal is, fill in the blank, whatever your goal is, that we forget life in general. We forget the fun. We forget the play, like Amy said. And then when you finally reach that goal, whatever that goal is for you, you realize, man, I lost myself in just trying to pursue this particular goal. So I love that you highlighted it because the goal can be something good. Your goal was something good. Financial independence, that is something that's good. But to know that you can still lose yourself in focusing so much on something that is good is a great highlight that you did in your section. You also talked about, Amy, that the power of words and the power of manifestation and how they're very critical in building financial freedom. So I'd love for you to elaborate a little bit more about why you felt, the power of your words and the power of manifestation is key if you have the goal of financial freedom. Could you elaborate a little bit more about what you meant by that?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like what we put a voice to, where we put our time and attention and focus and energy is what's actually going to create an abundance of that in our life. So being able to put yourself in a space, and I think people often feel like because I don't have, they are in the I never will. And I would encourage people to give themselves a vision and to sit in what it might feel like to be just maybe that next step. I think often people get lost in the I'm here, but I want to be light years ahead of where I am. And they lose the believability of that. So really just holding a vision in your mind of what it is that you want for that next iteration of yourself and putting that to rest in the belief that it will come true. I think
Right.
manifestation is important where we have to look ahead to the things that we want to achieve, but most importantly, be in gratitude and be very present where we are. Because if you aren't grateful for at least what you have, the universe, God, source, whatever it is that you identify with, then you're not going to be in a place of being able to receive a different level. I think being in gratitude, being in the present moment and being grateful for where you are and still holding a vision of where you want to go, that can get you there.
So good, so good. So first of all, be in gratitude. How many of us know that we need to be grateful for everything in life and holding that vision? Because sometimes our circumstances, we lose the vision, right? We have this amazing vision that we're given. God gives us this vision. And then when we're not seeing it manifest immediately, sometimes we lose the hope of that, right? So don't lose hope. Hold that vision and be in gratitude and be in the present moment. Be mindful and in the present moment. So good, Amy. And I want to end, Amy, on your section with the quote that you said, wealth is created when we let go of fear and stand in our power. I think that's so awesome. I'm actually this week studying about fear and how we overcome fear. So that quote just really stood out for me. It's really about letting go of the fear and standing in the power that we have. So I loved your section. Wealthy women change the world. All right. So, Rebecca Kirkson, let's talk about your section and what you wrote about in the book, which is Our Light Guides the Way. Our Light guides the Way. And you share that psychology and human development were things that you naturally gravitated towards. So, tell us a little bit about that. Why did you have such pulling and gravitation towards psychology and human development?
Yeah, I grew up in a home with two parents who were very service oriented and they were very much givers. But I also saw with that there was a lot of issues with self-worth and getting to esteem and value. So they would use giving and service to get to that space inside of themselves. And I grew up in a home where my mom did daycare. She also did foster care and worked with the Department of Mental Health and would bring kids in who had severe emotional disturbances. So right out of the gate as a young person, I was surrounded with this community of children who at times came from broken homes, they were struggling, and I would see the journey that my mom provided for them to try to get them to a sense of safety and stability. So that really impacted me, and I was just naturally drawn to observing how the personality was being developed, the stages of human growth. And I was just really fascinated with that. And I wanted to go deeper inside of that to see why some people maybe had a stable family and other people didn't have that luxury.
Yeah, I love that, Rebecca, because so much we can learn so much from curiosity, right? Being curious about the things in life and having those questions opens up our mind for learning and growing. So that sense of curiosity is so good. You also share in your section, Rebecca Kirson, that your career and motherhood journey, including the loss of your daughter and how that impacted you, to be open and vulnerable and share at that level of trauma. I definitely applaud you for that because that definitely inspires other people that may be going through something that dramatic in their life. So, how did you feel about writing that and knowing that that was a part of your story and people were going to be able to read about that? Was it something that came easy to you, or was it hard to really share that part of your story?
You know, I think anytime we're sharing about loss,
Yeah, we can take time.
it's difficult.
Yeah.
But she was truly my spiritual catalyst.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't be where I am in my life without that journey. So it's absolutely a part of my story and my life. And I think it's really powerful to share that with other people, that there are losses along the way. There are challenges along the way. There are
Yeah.
times when we feel like things are being taken away from us, but those are actually really periods of grace and pivot points that allow more to come in if we can really have a higher perspective about why that's happening. And I wouldn't be the person that I am had I not gone through that loss, had I not had that experience with Aiden Grace. So she absolutely is that grit of grace that brought that into my life to allow so much to come in and for me to be the person that can have empathy and compassion for other people who have experienced significant losses. And if I hadn't had that experience, I wouldn't be able to hold space for people in the way that I do.
Exactly. And my heart definitely goes out to you. And I thank you for being so courageous and being able to share that story. And I know that's going to help so many people when they read your story. So thank you for having the vulnerability and ability to be able to share at that level. That really helps other people along their journey. So thank you for that. You also share that you took a spiritual sabbatical and your introduction to, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, Asiatic records.
Akashic?
The Asiatic records. So I'd love for you to share because I'm sure a lot of people listening might not be as familiar with it, and it was a part of what you mentioned in your section. So can you share a little bit about that spiritual sabbatical and what you learned on that spiritual sabbatical and the Akashic records?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I think a lot of us are led by culture. And so we check off the list of the things that we need to do: go to school, get married, have a child, find an amazing job. And we can often, as Amy was talking about, be so focused on the goals that we lose ourselves and we lose that sense of our essence inside of the pursuit of that.
Mm.
And so I found myself inside of that. I found myself really yearning for a deeper sense of connection and purpose with the work that I was doing, but not really knowing what that was. So I decided to step out of the corporate life and also the life of being an entrepreneur and just really take a year to focus on why am I here and how can I ultimately be of highest service to others? Because I felt that strong call my whole life, but I didn't know specifically what I could focus on and how I could spend my time and energy to really give to others. So I did take that year to go deeper. And I am a person who's very intuitive. I very much do feel pulled to explore different things and trust my inner authority. And I was led to go deeper with the Akashic Records. And so the Akashic Records, we can all kind of think of it as the book of life. And it's referenced in all the ancient texts in the Bible. And they talk about there being this library that really stores all of the experiences that each of our souls have had.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was called to go deeper with that and to explore that. And I found when I started to tap into that, that was the first time that I actually ever felt like I was really home. I felt so much unconditional love and the presence of the divine. And it just made so much sense to me to be able to be in that space of unconditional love and to be able to share that with others, to reconnect them back into their sense of divinity and who they are at a deeper level. And as I've talked about, really going deeper with that light inside of our soul and allowing that to ripple out, allowing that to affect and touch other people. And once I found that I could tap into that and I could be in that space, that was my sense of purpose. And that was me really connecting to, okay, I'm a healer. I'm here to do this kind of work. And for the first time in my life, I felt complete and I felt whole.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. So I'll end your section, Rebecca Kirkson, with the quote that I took out of your section that I thought was super powerful was, "The power we all seek is contained within the light of our soul." I thought that was so powerful. So I love your section, "Our light guides the way." So let's move on to Rebecca Zdybel. Did I say it right this time?
No, it's okay. Zdybel. Zdybel.
Zdybel.
Uh-huh.
By the end of this podcast, I promise I'll pronounce it correctly. Rebecca Zdybel, and your section is "Joy as My Compass, an unlikely reinvention of life through art." And I love that because, first of all, joy. Anything that sparks joy in our life is something that, what is it? The organizer lady that talks about get rid of the things that don't spark
Marie Kondo. Yeah. Marie Kondo.
yes, that don't spark you joy. That I can resonate so much with that. So one of the things you mentioned in your section, Rebecca, is in my 40s, I found myself without a compass. So you kind of start off your section with that. And I'd love for you to share with the audience what that felt like, not having a compass. You talk about it a little bit more in your section of the book. But finding yourself without a compass. Tell us a little bit why that happened, why you felt that way in your
I
early 40s.
think I'm pretty typical of a lot of women, really, and perhaps a lot of women in my generation, especially. I'm 64 now, and I graduated in 78, and I got married at 20 years old. I'm still married, even now, to the same guy, which is a little
That's
unusual.
amazing. Applause for
Yeah,
that.
thank you. But I started having children in my early 20s. I was a nurse, raising kids and working. When you're doing that, anyone who has done that knows very well that there's very little time for thinking and thoughtful living beyond, just taking care of business and taking care of your family, taking care of your job responsibilities, maybe taking care of your health. On the side, and your marriage when there's spare time. And so, I think I was just so busy for so many years that when and where my children didn't quite have a need of me in the same way, I realized that I had been so focused on other people that I really hadn't given too much thought about what about me. And, so my 40s roll around and I've got time to think about me. And I was very grateful that I had that time, but I had a lot of energy and I wasn't quite sure what to do with it. And, I do like to be of service. I am a person of faith. Um, I prayed at that point, just because I felt kind of out of my depth, that, you know, God would guide my steps and use me in some way. And at the time I made that prayer, I thought it would be for me to go back into nursing. I had always felt as if there was a very spiritual component to my profession, you know, in helping people and seeing them through their health situations. But whenever I took an art class, my heart just lit up inside in such an amazing way. And I can't say that it was because I was especially good. I don't feel that I was necessarily, but I was very happy whenever I painted. I felt as if it was a way to tap into something that felt transcendent and I don't know, joyful for sure. And so, you know, I just decided that at this point in my life, maybe it was time for me to pursue something that brought me joy and to not apologize for that.
Mm.
I saw my children unapologetically doing things that brought them joy. I saw my husband doing things that brought himself joy. And I thought, you know, maybe I need to give myself permission to do the same thing. And so I think, you know, with the prayer, I attribute the prayer that God use me and guide my steps as being a really good foundation on which I built the next iteration of myself. And it's been amazing how, in simply saying yes to opportunities that came my way, like this book, that one thing has led to the next, and each has had the litmus test of, does it sound like fun? And in just kind of being open and pursuing that which seemed to be the next fun thing to do, it has, you know, allowed me to, you know, now be a professional artist. It was not my aspiration to do that. It just has happened with me saying yes to opportunity after opportunity. So.
Yeah, I love that, Rebecca, because you were guided by joy and fun, right? And to ask that question, what about me? You know, so many of us as women give in so many different areas in our lives, wear so many hats that we don't stop to ask the question, what about me? What do I want? And using that litmus test, as Rebecca talked about, of joy and fun. Is this opening up joy? Is it sparking joy for me? Is this something that's going to be fun and going down that path? In fact, I love the part where you said, I followed the call of my heart and dove into watercolor with a passion. So I love that, you know, you followed that call of your heart. I love that you consider yourself the world's most unlikely professional artist, right? So tell us, why are you the world's most unlikely professional artist?
Well, you know, I think I've always had a little bit of a rebellious spirit. And so it kind of fits with the person that I am. I didn't go to art school. I don't have an art agent. I'm not represented by a gallery. I don't have a niche type of art. You can't look at my art and say, oh, this is what Rebecca does. I don't have a brand, in other words, and none of that is what they recommend that you do in order to be a successful artist. And so I feel like I really am an unlikely success. And yet here I am, you know, I've had a gallery for 7 years that only houses my work, that pays its own bills and allows me to travel to Italy, to I have, you know, students who fill my classes and people who collect my work. And I mean, I don't really have a goal per se, but I think I've checked a lot of the boxes that other people would look at and say would make me a successful artist. And I'm having fun. So, you know, it's all working. And it's not because I've done what anybody said I should do. it's just because I'm still having fun. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what that, I hope that has application for other people and not necessarily in the world of art. I think, if you take my story and try to apply it to yourself, I would hope that you would pay attention to what lights you up and do more of it. Make space for that, whatever it is.
Yeah, I love that, Rebecca. So true, so true. And I love the quote that you said, I have consistently followed the path that brought me joy. We talked about that already, but also the quote that you said, our lives are probably our greatest work of art. Our lives are probably our greatest work of art. That's so telling. So you guys all had amazing chapters. And Marie, I want to go back to you and ask, what was your guidance, direction, instruction to the women when it came to writing their sections of the book? Because they all wrote amazing sections and so much that we can learn from each and every one of the women, the ones here on the panel, and of course the ones that are in the book that are not on the panel. So when you had this vision of this book, an idea for this book, when you reached out and you gave that invitation to each one of the ladies, what was your instruction and guidance to them about writing their particular chapters?
Well, I think it was very general, first of all, because I tried to create what the theme of the book was, what the purpose of the book was. And
Mm,
what I'm aware of is that there's a lot of people out there. If you look at all of us here, I mean, I'm going to be 75, and it's like we've all had like a long life that has led things. And there's a lot of people that are retiring very early, sometimes not by choice.
yep,
There's a lot of people that have a lot of energy, they want to continue doing things. And we don't see a lot of what I would say role models other than movie stars, out there in the world. And so I just wanted to provide, I mean, we need a showcase. We need people who will do some good things. So in terms of writing their stories, I wanted it to be inspirational, that it wasn't just about them, but it was about them for other people that would read it, including the men that have read the book. Um,
mm-hmm,
and and then the publisher who we work with, they help to guide, because 4 pages or 5 pages is not a lot when you've led a long life. So it's
right.
like, how do we encapsulate what would be one aspect or one piece, a theme that gave you purpose and gave you some passion and then gave you power, um,
Right.
to be able to demonstrate that. And I think people did a pretty good job.
They did. They did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, I did read the beginning of the this book where you talked about, what inspired you to write the book. But did you have like a full chapter too, where you talked about a section in the book, Marie? Did you have a full chapter in it too, or no?
I didn't. I didn't even realize that I could. I was the amasser of greatness
Yeah.
with the authors, and after the book was pretty much done, the publisher said to me, "Are you writing a chapter?" And it was like, oh, I could have had a V8. I didn't even
Yeah,
realize. But I wrote a lengthy introduction.
you
And to
did.
me, that was what I wanted to do, was to really be that feature
Yep.
for other people. In this next book, I actually will write a chapter. I don't know what it's going to be
Awesome.
on yet, but
Yeah, looking forward to
we'll do
that.
that.
Volume 2 with the chapter for Marie as well. Yeah, but the opening was amazing. It was like a whole section on its own. So I want to ask each and every one of you, what do you want each reader to take away from your particular stories and section in one word or one phrase? So trying to keep it concise and short. If you want someone to take away something from reading your section, what would be that one word or one phrase that you would want them to take away? And then, Marie, I'm going to pose a question to you slightly different. What would you want them to take away from the entire book? What would be that one word and one phrase, or one phrase that you would like them to take away from the entire book? So I'll start off with the co-authors. Anyone who feels led to go first and share what would be that one word or one phrase that you would like them to take away from your section. Amy?
It's possible.
Mm,
Everything is possible. It's whatever you choose to find as your North Star.
mhm.
So whether that is wealth or a different iteration of what's important to you, just know that if you hold the belief in yourself, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. I love that, Amy. Who'd like to share next? What's that one word or a key phrase takeaway? Rebecca Kirkson.
Yeah, I would say be the light. Like we're all
Mm,
seeking light in the world. It feels very dark at times. And the
yes.
truth is, we are the light that we're seeking. So be the light, illuminate,
Mm,
shine,
exactly.
shine that bright.
Yeah. Be the light, shine in your lane. I love that, Rebecca Kirkson. And
Mhm.
Rebecca Zybdel. Zybdel. Zybdel.
Rebecca's fine. Um,
Okay.
So we
I
call
know
her
there's two
Rebecca Z as
Rebeccas.
an artist.
Yeah, Rebecca Z and Rebecca K, right? So I don't mess up your name.
yeah, I think for me, it would be pay attention to what brings you joy and make space for it.
Pay attention and make space for what brings you joy. And Marie, to you, what would be that key takeaway, that one word, that phrase that you would like for the readers of Inspiring Women to take away from this book?
I have a phrase.
Okay.
Read it, absorb it, own it for yourself, and then give it away.
All right. So Marie's giving us instructions here. So read, observe, own it, and give it away. So I love that. And I guess I'll pose this question to you, Marie. Is that in response to the book itself or life in general, owning it? Like, I just want to make sure I'm understanding fully. Read the book. Like, is it response to life in general or specifically the book?
Well, in the book, using the book as inspiration is to
Mm.
read it, absorb that inspiration, live it, own it, and then give it away.
Awesome. Love it. Read it, live it, own it, and give it away. So read that book, everyone. And speaking of reading that book, Inspiring Women, where is the best place for them to purchase the book? Would it be Amazon?
They can get it on Amazon, and they can also get it on Barnes and Noble, and they can also
Awesome.
get it from any of the authors that they may know or might like to know.
Exactly. I love that. So get it on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, or any one of the authors that are here on the panel or not on the panel discussion today. You can purchase this amazing book, Inspiring Women, Purpose, Passion, and Power in Professionalism. And lastly, I want to end with how people can connect with each and one of you amazing women. So I will start off with Rebecca Z.
You got it right. RebeccaZartist.com is my website. You can reach me at Rebecca@RebeccaZartist.com as an email. And I would welcome the opportunity to have you study with me either distantly online or in person if you're ever in Myrtle Beach, or travel
Awesome.
with me. Maria and I
Yeah.
often find our way to Italy, sometimes together.
Right.
Exactly. I have to get on one of those Italy retreats. I love Italy. It's amazing. Okay, Rebecca Kirkson.
You can reach me at Rebecca at yoursacredtruth.com, and the website is www.yoursacredtruth.com.
Awesome. And Amy Getz.
Yes, my email is amy@ircwealth.com. I also sometimes play on Instagram. It's Amy W. Getz Finance. And I'm on LinkedIn as well. So Amy Getz there. I delight in connections and conversations and collaborations. So I would invite anyone who's curious or just wants, someone to bounce some ideas off of, reach out. You never know what
Awesome.
amazing things can happen from just delicious conversation.
Exactly. Thank you, Amy. And Marie, how can people contact and reach out to you?
Well, I hope that you all do, and you can reach me at getclientseverywhere.com. And if you go there, there's a free gift for you. And I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm also on Facebook, and I'm all around the world because I am everywhere.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, ladies. This has been an amazing conversation. I've loved. Oh, Marie, go ahead.
I just wanted to take a minute, Nadine, and acknowledge you because
Oh,
I have been on a lot of podcasts, and I want to acknowledge you for, first of all, taking the book, noticing the chapters, reading through, relating to us. That says a whole lot about you and your professionalism. And I just feel really honored and seen. And I really want to say thank you to the co authors who are here. today, that given us your time and your talents to
Yep.
still continue to make a difference. Nadine, beautiful job, really. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure and a joy. Look at that. It has been a pleasure and a joy talking to each and every one of you about this book, Inspiring Women, Purpose, Passion, and Power in Professionalism. I encourage each and every listener to go out and get the book, read it, absorb it, and give it away, right? So definitely do that. Thank you, ladies, and thank you for being a part of the Women, Faith Plus Business podcast. Thank you for listening to the Women, Faith Plus Business podcast. I hope this episode has been insightful and inspiring and has offered you an opportunity to take action to transform your life and your business. Wherever you are listening, be sure to rate and review the podcast and also subscribe to get the next episode right in your inbox by going to womenfaithandbusiness.com to join our email list.